07069126, if not on X, at Channel Africa 1. This very same handle can be used on Instagram and TikTok. And lastly, on Facebook, it is at Channel Africa Radio.
Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy. Feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter?
Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard?
Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126.
And we will call you back.
So you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So yeah, that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk, it's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Africa Speaks on African Diaries with Shayla Ndikumana.
Umukhulu wena onqoba inhliziyo yami umkhulu wena uphakeme wena onqoba inhliziyo yami uphakeme wena ngithi bayede kuwena onqoba inhliziyo yami bayede Bongiseni sengihlabelela lilizela wemlilizeli ake ningibongiseni sengihlabelela lilizela wemlilizeli ake ningibongiseni sengihlabelela bongiseni sengihlabelela I'm sure ukuthi amazulu avumile bheka namhlanje ushimile wena utshala uthando seluhlumile cause every little thing you do just count for something. Every little thing you do just count for something. Yeah, cause I got wet, baby, when I want me. Want you to care for me, love me, want me. Bongiseni sengihlabelela lilizela wemlilizela ake ningibongiseni sengihlabelela lilizela wemlilizela ake ningibongiseni sengihlabelela bongiseni sengihlabelela
It is 16 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African Time. That beautiful number titled Lilizela by Nomfundo Mo. Before that, we had Mpho Sabina with her rendition of Brenda Fassie's Too Late for Mama. If you're just joining us, welcome to it. This is African Diaries. Shayla Ndikumana keeping you company, and I've got you for the next hour and 45 minutes if we're trying to be precise. It is 16 after 10, and it's time for us to get into the recap of some of the conversations that went down this Monday here, 15th of September 2025. We kickstart off with Rise and Shine, where Asanda Beta sat down with Dr. Hilda de Klerk from Doctors Without Borders to unpack the Ebola outbreak in Kasai, DRC.
What are the main challenges that your teams are facing in getting help to those who are affected?
So initially, it was really what you were mentioning, that it's quite a remote area, which makes supply of both people, extra personnel, and material quite challenging. We hope, though, that now with the extra personnel that arrived and the material that is coming in, that this challenge, should get smaller, and that yes, we can set up the only setup that was done to isolate patients that were suffering from Ebola was quite temporary. But now with the extra personnel and the extra material, we think that we can set up a bigger structure that is more suited to give Ebola patients the care they need.
So what kind of care are you giving patients? What kind of support is the MSF providing to patients as well as health workers right now, because they are also affected?
Yes, indeed. So at start, which happens very often in Ebola outbreaks, quite some healthcare workers were affected, as it's really a contact disease where people who care for the ill are the ones actually who get infected. So you were very right. Some healthcare personnel was affected, but also people of the community. So what consists of the treatment is that you give supportive treatment in terms of things like fluids, antibiotic coverage. But luckily nowadays, there's also a specific treatment against Ebola for which you need like pumps, infusion pumps to give it. So all this material was brought in. And despite some challenges, the Ministry of Health of Congo already managed to treat with this specific treatment quite some patients.
And on the move, Ndumi Mfunda, powerhouse founder of Luleki Sizwe Women's Project, joined by Lisa Tao and Benjamin Mshatama to shine a light on the roots and motives of corrective rape across the continent.
And the listeners.
Well, this is quite a serious issue. As I said in my introduction, usually when we speak about gender-based violence, we leave out so many marginalized groups. And one of the biggest marginalized groups, in fact, on the African continent is the LGBTQI plus community. This is a very, very dangerous mindset that sexual assault can change or correct or alter a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Let's speak about the mindset behind this really, really dangerous phenomenon.
Thank you very much. I want us to be honest when we deal with this issue. It's all about how the society takes everything. We're living in a patriarchal society where masculinity versus patriarchy. Why am I saying this? You'll find most of the people, namely men, who are actually perpetrators, they feel intimidated by masculine women, lesbian women, and transgender people.
Mm-hmm.
They always we're taking their girls. I don't know how you take somebody's girl they're not even dating these girls. Also remember the society itself, how it raised a boy child. I always say these things whenever I do talks. And I said, let's go back how the society raised a boy child and a girl child. It started there.
Yeah.
In the black community, I'll be specific to be exact. In fact, even white communities as well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find a boy child is expected not to show their vulnerability. When they're emotional, they can't show their emotions. And a girl child is loaded with lots of responsibilities. So therefore, that is why we always said patriarchy versus masculinity in this case. When a lesbian woman, to be specific around this topic, a masculine lesbian woman dates a girl, a man say they are taking our girls, they're acting like men.
Yeah.
So basically, men are the only people who are allowed to date girls.
And on the upside, committee chair Khomotso Anthea Ramolubeng didn't hold back, accusing G4S of acting like a law unto themselves following chilling reports of inmates' deaths, cover-ups and brutality.
Committee chairperson Khomotso Anthea Ramolobeng expressed deep concern, accusing G4S of acting as a law unto themselves, with evidence pointing to brutal assaults, dishonesty, and attempts to obstruct accountability. Now, one of the most disturbing cases involved inmate Mpho Mkumbeni, who died under suspicious circumstances after sustaining severe injuries reportedly inflicted by officials during a planned drill. Joining us to tell us more about this and the rights of prisoners in the prisons is Miles Budu, founder of the South African Prisoners Association, organization for human rights, and acting national spokesperson. We'll be getting into conversation with Miles right after this. It's 20 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time.
Africa, it's time to
22 after 10 p.m. Central African time. We continue with our update, and the very last story brings us to Africa in business. And Tami Ngubeni caught up with Christian Bwakira of On Afrique, who revealed their big collab with Visa to roll out Visa Pay in the DRC, connecting millions of wallets to M-Pesa, Airtel Money, and Orange Money to Visa's global network.
Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Good afternoon to you as well. Thank you very much.
Perhaps let's start off with this collaboration and really what is a strategic partnership between yourselves and Visa. Why did this come about and how?
First and foremost, again, thank you so much for welcoming us. So maybe just to set the scene a little bit, and to put a little bit of context, so talking a little bit about On Afrique for your viewers and for your listeners as well. So today we interconnect 1 billion mobile wallets across 43 African countries, and also interconnecting 500 million bank accounts. And it's important perhaps maybe to reiterate our mission, which is one. It is simply connecting the African continent by making borders matter less. And we believe that as fragmented as a region in which we operate, the only currency that matters is access, right? And that should be the case across the African continent. Now, going to your question specifically, the value of this partnership comes in a couple of formats. One, it builds on our history of and connecting mobile network operators, financial institutions, and global networks across the African continent. And importantly, we've had tremendous penetration of mobile banking solutions across the African continent, particularly at domestic level. Our aim in this is to connect domestic payment rails, in this case, mobile payment wallet holders, to global payments ecosystem, in this case, Visa.
For these and more stories, please head over to channelafrica.co.za for live updates as the shows run. This is from Rise and Shine all the way through to Africa in Business and so much more. Look for us on social media, on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Channel Africa 1. And for the live streams of the show, this is the audio-visual offering. Please head over to YouTube and Facebook looking for the platform Channel Africa.
Mornings Made Better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
Former politician and diplomat, he's the leader of the Democratic Alliance Party at one stage, and also served as South Africa's ambassador to Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Ambassador Tony Leon, if you were party leader now and in the GNU, what would you be pushing for?
I can speak with some direct experience because, as you might know, I was actually one of the negotiators of the GNU last year when it was formed. What I'd be pushing for is to hold the government or the president's feet to the fire on actually operationalizing the agreement that was implemented. Unfortunately, that agreement has been honored early in its breach. And I think, go back to basics and just say, okay, we're not going any further with this arrangement until we actually implement these steps.
Mornings Made Better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. African Diaries, weekdays 10 till midnight.
It is 26 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time. That was a recap of some of the stories that have been covered across the board today on Channel Africa, of course, bringing forth that African perspective. It's time for us to scribe in our diaries, and today we are doing it in Portuguese. And we kickstart off by saying, Querido Diário Africano.
Honestly, this is getting scary. You can run cinematic ads using AI. Google just released a new AI tool called VO3. I think it's like 1 month in. I mean, everyone is talking about it, but here is what they're not telling you. VO3 can create for you cinematic ads that you can use to run your business advertisements. You don't need to pay content creators. You don't need to have a camera crew. I'm going to show you what I just did. I imagined a brand called Abe's Collection handbags, and I asked Google's AI to create for me this whole thing. I generated a prompt. You can use ChatGPT to generate a prompt or just generate something from your head. I want to show you exactly what happened. You won't even believe this. It created 4 models at luxurious in boutique.
Welcome to Abe's Chic Essence Bags. Crafted for the woman who conquers boardrooms by day, our timeless bags are more than accessories. They're statements of success, sophistication, and silent power.
So this means 3 things. 1, you can create your own stunning cinematic ads using this AI tool, and that saves you money, saves you time, and you don't have to hustle about with content creators or maybe photographers or even makeup artists. So you're saving so much money for your business because you're able to create these ads on your own. 2, you can use this as an income stream by creating digital products like me, and you sell them to people by showing people how to use these tools. Tools like these are up and selling right now, and they're on the market, and digital products are like the in thing, especially if it's like your side hustle income. You can get to do this. And finally, you can also create this for brands, and then they pay you. You create ads for them using tools like VO AI, and then they pay you. Don't forget to save this video because you may need it later, and if you want help, DM me AI or comment AI, and I'll help you get started.
That audio by East African. This is Abe telling us about the realities of AI. There is an app out by Google that is known as VO3, and you can create cinematic ads using this app. What does this then mean for content creators? What does it mean for marketers? What does it mean for the entire ecosystem that depends on this particular kind of offering to sustain themselves? And I mean, of course, this in monetary value. Are we seeing the shutdown of digital marketing as a whole when it comes to human resources? Or are we jumping the boat and going ahead of ourselves? Now, my producer was just whispering to me in my ear, Shayla, jobs are finished. It's over. I don't think so. What is your take? What are your thoughts and views on the integration of AI into our daily living and how this is affecting our job market? Of course, we're going to be speaking to Kenneth Mokhabudi, who is an award-winning marketer, and he's going to be explaining to us how AI is reshaping digital marketing. But more than that, how AI is learning better ways to get your attention, like I have now. Let's get some music.
Africa's very own think tank. This is Channel Africa Online. www.channelafrica.co.za.
Freedom, toils of the brave and the sweat of their labors, toils of the brave which have brought results. Kwame, the star of Ghana, Nkrumah, star of Ghana, everybody. Everybody toils of the brave, and the sweat of their labors, toils of the brave, which have brought results. Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Everybody toils of the brave, and the sweat of their labors, toils of the brave, which have brought results. Gold Coast will thank Nananum and elders, late Gisli Hayford, Mensan Saba, Pa Grant, Sergeant Ajete, and all who fought for freedom. Everybody! Toils of the brave, and the sweat of their labors, toils of the brave, which have brought results.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
From Cape to Cairo, every beat tells a story. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
Nakasumbala jano de waste time, oh na. Me I want fire bazooka, oh na. Mr. Money no de waste time, Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Say baby to find no de too shine, unaka. Show why me ni. Mr. Money no de waste time, Mr. Money want to ease your mind. Hello, you carry back a lot of filo. I'ma check a phone, no go de ghost to go. I do to pay what 10 kilo. Kumatingaza, Shina say your falapa. Agata from Osaka funi bulala. Nishe lo japa. Omo ajebota ni be mega pa. I don't like nonsense we are go bota. Bota. Nishe lo japa. Omo ajebota ni be mega pa. I don't like nonsense we are go bota. Bota. Sunga la ja sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now. Mr. Money with the vibe right now.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Sungbala Jaco Majubadi. My problem is I too sabi. Pop Marley for the pool party. I got out, ya dark bada. Show you the white meaning. You know see Uba, ya Bakada. Shop banka, you go shop gada. Ele Sungbala Jaja Sumba. Carry your matter for head like Oshuka. VVS is on my neck, zero fuka. You dey puka, see give me shuka. Cause you know you carry, give me super. Ele Sunga. Oya Timo Bata, Biti Konga.
Hello. You carry back a lot of filo. I'ma check a phone, no go de ghost you. Edu to gbe what 10 kilo. Kumatingaza. Shina say your falapa. Agata from Osaka funi bulala. Nishe lo japa. Omo ajebota ni miga pa. I don't like nonsense we are go bota. Bota. Nishe lo japa. Omo ajebota ni miga pa. I don't like nonsense we are go bota. Bota. Sunga la ja sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga la ja sunga ulu sunga.
Give me shuka, cause you know you carry, give me super. Ele Sunga. Oya Timo Bata, Biti Konga. Uluwa Boda.
It is 36 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time. Ashake coming in with Burna Boy and that one titled Songba the Remix. Before that, E.T. Mensah taking us to Ghana. What a beloved he is. And that one titled Ghana Freedom. If you've just joined us, welcome to it. This is African Diaries. Shayla and Dikumana keeping you company. And it's time for us to get into our very first conversation. Remember, the focal point is self-love and development for this Monday. And we're going to be looking at how this ties in with technology. Now, in today's conversation, we explore one of the most pressing issues in modern marketing, the rise of artificial intelligence and the battle for people's attention. Now, across Africa and the globe, attention has become more valuable than currency. Brands, platforms, and creators are all fighting for just a few seconds of focus. The question is, are we as consumers cognizant of the realities that come at the cost of our attention, given that African markets are different and they bring their own realities? This is diverse cultures, uneven connectivity, and unique consumer behaviors, which create both challenges and opportunities. Is this something that is truly addressed when marketers take it to form to use AI to get and grab our attention? Now, for this particular conversation and to help us unpack how AI is shaping digital marketing and how the continent can lead rather than follow, we are joined by Kenneth Mukhabudi, who's an award-winning strategist and senior digital manager at Instinctive Partners Africa. Kenneth, we meet again. Welcome to African Diaries.
Hi, Shayla. Thank you for having me again. Happy to meet the users as well. And I appreciate you having me on the platform all over again.
I absolutely love how you said users as opposed to listeners, as opposed to audience. It just shows where we're going with this. Let's start off by setting the tone. How is AI transforming the way brands compete for attention across the African platform, across the African and the diaspora space? In actual fact, let's give it global context. How is AI transforming that struggle or that fight for attention?
Thank you very much for the question, Shayla, and thank you for having me on the platform again. The first one I want to speak about is that basically attention has always been a valuable commodity. Attention has always been how people purchase, how people act, what people believe, and what perceptions people have had over time. Therefore, attention has always been a variable that allows, whether it be business, whether it be government, whether it be other people, to influence their behavior, to influence their action as well. So when you throw in the mix of AI, attention is now influenced where it meets that nexus between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So when we come and we bring those two things together, attention then has to compete on various levels with machine learning and computers, and therefore we have to then realize that that attention is being shifted according to what brands and companies and organizations want us to see. So basically, the main thing that companies and organizations have tried to do throughout history is capture focus long enough to influence perception and action, because what we perceive is how we act. What we think is how we behave. And when you can influence that, you then are able to influence consumer behavior. That is how people buy, how people purchase their products, what services they use, and how they interact with the world beyond them. Then if you're able to influence that behavior as well, you then can influence to a deeper level how people vote, what they then agree to and not agree to, and what policies you can influence in each individual country. So basically, AI is what allows people to personalize that aspect to the individual, to the microscopic level. So now it's no longer algorithms that are being influenced by people, but people that are being influenced now by algorithms. So when you mix all of that together, you're shifting an entire global perception towards what the AI determines. And I think that's where we currently are with how brands or AI is transforming the way brands compete for attention.
That sounds like a mighty ordeal. And I'm saying this because we just came from listening to an audio clip by This Is Abe, and she was telling us about VEO3. Now, this is a platform, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with it. Google has created this platform so that content can be created. Essentially, you can create cinematic ads with this platform. That means content creators can be cut out, makeup artists, the entire ecosystem that it would take to create this ad is cut out, and AI gives you, inclusive of voiceover work and the like. And that just gets me thinking, right? Are they mitigating balances that we're seeing being put into place? How is policing taking effect when it comes to the use of AI in digital marketing?
Very great question, Shayla, and I think it's one that everyone asks themselves. The difficult part about government policy and policy in general that regulates any industry, it always falls behind that specific industry because innovation is always going to outspeed or outpace what governments sit down and then are able to pull together in terms of policy. So just like how the internet is only being regulated properly now in terms of use of information, use of our imagery, use of our locations, use of our data, yet the internet became popular from the 1990s to the early 2000s, but regulation is only coming in properly at this point. And that regulation you can see through the incorporation or integration of the Personal Protection of Information, which is POPI Act, and GDPR across Europe as well. So to answer your question in terms of how then do we regulate policy, how then do we regulate AI? It's a difficult one to answer because the technology is still new, and basically the way it has been promulgated or been brought into the world is through what's called a large language model, an LLM. And what that large language model is that you feed it as much information as possible, which allows it to be more accurate. So basically how AI has become as advanced as it has become is because they've plugged it into the internet, and therefore it's absorbed this entire huge data set of human history to then be able to predict what humans respond to, how humans respond, why we respond, and where we respond as well. So basically, when we take all that information, how do you regulate that consumption of content or data that we have fed AI? And where does that nexus or where does that balance come in between to say, we want this AI to make our lives easier, but we don't want it to overtake what we do or what makes us fundamentally human? And that's the difficult question that philosophers all over the world are asking themselves. There's been huge debates in the West around it. There's been huge debates in the East around it in terms of where does the AI stop and where does human interaction or engagement start to begin. And that's the balance we constantly have to ask ourselves, because AI is moving our population forward, is moving the future forward, is moving technology forward. And we as humans are going to benefit a lot from its integration, especially here in Africa, whether it be in school, with allowing students to have more personalized learning paths, whether it be in medicine, where it allows doctors to predict cancer cures and symptoms of sickness a lot faster, whether it be engineering, where humans no longer have to go underground to dig in mines, which is a dangerous job, but we can have AI and technology take over that. Then we then have to balance that also with when does it take away people's jobs, or when are we able to find that sweet, mutually beneficial relationship where humans are not being replaced by AI, but are able to use it to further expand or innovate beyond what our human capability currently is. So to answer your question, I am somewhere in the middle of that because I am for innovation. I do want our society to move forward, especially here in Africa, especially in South Africa, where I believe we as a people can benefit a lot from AI. But you are correct. There has to be some form of regulation or policy that protects us as humans as well going forward, especially from a technology we don't fully understand yet.
Sure. The voice there of Kenneth Mukhabudi joining us this evening, and he is an award-winning strategist and senior digital manager at Instinctive Partners Africa. And we are discussing all things the integration of AI and how AI is reshaping digital marketing, something that has become so profoundly important in society. Kenneth, you said something so important. You said that the point of digital marketing, or marketing as a whole, is how I understood it, is to grab someone's focus long enough to change or influence their perception. right? You also made mention of the reality that backlogs of data have been fed into AI, and now it's studying how people move and motion. My only concern is that those backlogs don't necessarily reflect the best of the African continent, nor do they sell the realities of the African continent correctly. And so, how is this influencing us as a continent?
Very great question, Sheila. And this is the issue that has come about with AI, and not just on this continent, around the world, that is not influenced by Western culture or Western media. So the danger in AI is that if you feed it global sets of data, and most of the time that global set of data is going to come from places such as Silicon Valley in the US, New York, London, Paris, or Germany as well, Berlin. And when you feed it global sets of data, especially westernized data, there is going to be an unfortunate result where that global bias is going to start to kick in. Obviously, that is how then people are showcased across media, what kind of data you feed it, and therefore it then influences to shape its perception or shape its understanding of human or society around a Western philosophy. That is not necessarily accurate of Africa. Africa obviously is much more nuanced. We have multiple languages, we have multiple cultures, we have multiple social dynamics. And when we think about that, you cannot compare a society such as one in America, or even one in Beijing, or one in Europe, or one in South America, to one in Africa. And when we do that, we have to take social dynamics into consideration. Therefore, what we are seeing, and this is an unfortunate result of the where the technology is being built and the people that are building that technology. They are feeding it a data set that speaks to their society, that speaks to their history, that speaks to their perception. When that then happens, our AI becomes then biased towards a data set that it has not been accurately fed or it has not been accurately inputted, and therefore it biases a certain demographic or a culture of people where that AI has not been able to collect that data. So the best way I can put it is that AI is being taught in English. If it's taught in English, it responds in English, and its understanding of English has been shown to be very accurate and very human-like. But if you ask AI to speak to you in Yoruba, if you ask for AI to speak to you in Zulu, in Xhosa, in any African language, it then struggles because it has not been accurately fed that data set to be able to respond to you fluently and accurately as well. And that's where the first bias then begins. Then, besides that bias of language, imagery. If you feed AI imagery that is mainly Western focused, to say a suit is the right way for someone to present themselves in a business meeting, the AI is going to take that perception and then influence it across other communication or other content as well. So if you wear traditional garb in a meeting, or if you're then asking it a question in terms of how then I can dress for a business function, AI is going to then give you a direction towards a Western focus result or Western focus answer, which does not necessarily take into consideration your culture and your language. Therefore, that bias exists across multiple aspects, and the only way we are able to properly mitigate that is by investing in local data sets. And this is where our people, our government, our regulators, and our businesses have to come into play by obviously being able to collect it and feed it into the system as best as possible. And these platforms are in Africa, the Metas, the Googles, the Amazon, they are coming across the continent. The next step is that we have to curate it responsibly. We have to make sure what is being communicated, what is being put out there by AI systems is thoroughly checked, and there are balances in place to make sure that that information is not biasing any one demographic, any one people, or any one set of information. Then the next thing is that it has to reflect real human behavior, and that human behavior has to exist across multiple people. There are 7 billion people on this planet. Now we are going towards 8 billion people. So therefore, we have to take all that nuance into consideration, not just within Africa, but within Latin America. They are having the same issues with AI biases that we are. Within Southeast Asia, they are having the same issues with AI that we are, because the AI platforms have mainly been built in Western societies, that is Silicon Valley, that is London, that is New York, and have been slow. And there is still progress being made, but it's been slow progress towards integrating the rest of the world within that data set.
Kenneth, this is all we have time for, but we have to thank you so much for joining us this evening. You've given us perspective, you've given us insight, and hopefully this information will better inform how we navigate the internet, online, and perhaps even the biases that we see across the board. Again, then, Kenneth, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Shayla, for having me, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
The voice of Kenneth Mokhabudi, an award-winning strategist and senior digital manager at Instinctive Partners Africa. Listen, the focal point this evening, I must remind you, because we are getting very technical in our approach, is self-love and self-development. And the reason we jumped into this AI conversation is firstly, how long do you spend on TikTok scrolling up and down? How long do you spend on all these other platforms that I don't want to make mention of? How do you think they got your attention? What did they use that sort of had you stuck on the platform and not wanting to leave? Those are the questions I want you to be thinking about, and how AI is further developing that. And so if you are cognizant, then you know how to relate and navigate these devices that are supposed to be for our benefit. Listen, in the second hour, we talk all things benefit. We are rewiring our mind, looking at the realities of AI, the integration of technology into the African continent, the dispersion that it has created, I suppose even the stringency on connectivity that we have seen as a result of the introduction of new technologies, but also how can we maximize on the opportunity that currently exists? We use entrepreneurial thinking to navigate and guide us through this conversation, and we do that with Willem Gous on the other side of this music.
We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet, Channel 628. Africa's voices, Africa's journeys. They're all on African Diaries.
I don't need nothing from you. Your beautiful heart is the muse. I've been reckless with my choices. Can't seem to get what the point is. Life can be rough, can be smooth, and not every fact is the truth. Advancing, I've laid down my burdens. Can't seem to silence the voices. Don't in this setting, I be that person. We go be your shoulder, body, best in anything. Your type no many, they are not ready. I go give you 100%, never no 90. More than amazing, well quality. You are deserving of the love you are not getting. Independently, I'll take the liberty, and I go love you specially. Oh, all the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. All the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. Many tales to tell. Oh, in this setting, I be that person. We gon' be your shoulder, body, best in anything. Your type no many, they are not ready. I go give you 100%, never no 90. More than amazing, well quality. You are deserving of the love you are not getting. Independently, I'll take the liberty, and I go love you specially. Oh, all the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. All the love, all the care, them they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. blessing. We go be your shoulder, body, best me anything. Your type no many, me I not envy. I go give you 190, banana amazing, and the quality. You are deserving of the love you are not getting. Independently, I take the liberty, and I go love you specially. Oh, the love, oh the care, them they fake don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. All the love, all the care, then they fake don't be hard, baby, give it.
Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
Superstar mo matala, favale mo kala, gato mansa dola, ukakasanya singa, temo bambala passe, para passe, para passe.
Trips all the way to Gambia with that one. That was Uga Boys, and that one titled Kuchakala. Before that, Aria's Star giving us all the love coming from Nigeria. If you've just joined us, it is a minute before the second hour of the show. A blessed and beautiful Monday to you and yours. Welcome to African Diaries. Shayla and Dikumana with you, and I have got a very, very profound individual here in studio who will be helping us navigate through the lens of entrepreneurial thinking, this reality of AI. If you want to send through your questions, your thoughts, your views, you can find us on WhatsApp. The number is +27 6340 69126. On YouTube through that live stream, please comment. I think it would be so beautiful for you to just put your commentary there on YouTube. Find us on Channel Africa. Before we get into our conversation, let's take a quick breather.
Africa Speaks. on African Diaries with Shayla Ndikumana.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África.
Ok.
Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
From Cape to Cairo, every beat tells a story. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
It is 2 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Today we are joined by Willem Gous, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert known for helping leaders and organizations reframe challenges into opportunities. Now, we presented a challenge in the very first hour, the realities of AI. And as Africa stands at the crossroads of digital revolutions, digital intelligence and artificial intelligence offers an enormous potential. However, it also threatens a wide existing divide. Now, from broadband access to skills development, from local language inclusion to new business models, the way we think entrepreneurially will determine whether AI accelerates inequality or fuels prosperity. Together, today we will be exploring how African innovators, governments, and communities can close the digital divide and use AI as a tool for inclusive growth. Willem, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to African Diaries.
Thank you, Shayla. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's start off by just gauging things from your vantage point, right? How do you navigate, or what are your thoughts and sentiments on the digital divide? I mean, before the idea was a smartphone was the dividing concept, right? So either you have a camera or you don't have a camera. It wasn't too deep. You had one social media platform that you needed to navigate, not seven, right? You had access to people more. After COVID, after the developments in technology, this divide has widened. What's your take on that?
Well, let's first understand what the digital divide is. You know, so many people talk about it, but what does it really mean?
Yeah.
And as we develop new technologies, it gets accepted in markets. In certain markets, it gets accepted quicker as a result of, is it a small country? How's the geography, etc., as well as the wealth of the country. So fire was a technology.
Yeah.
Then the telephone. That's when the digital divide. So now I could call people. I remember in the 80s you had to book an overseas call.
Oh.
You couldn't pick up, so you had to call a local exchange. They call that exchange. They connect you, and that's how you called overseas. And it was ludicrously expensive. Now you just pick up WhatsApp and you call your buddy and anywhere in the world. So it's what part of the population of Africa has good access to the latest technologies. In this instance, communication, internet. It could be business, communication, whatever the case may be, but the internet. And we're being left behind. So if we don't have people who can access the technology, but then also use the technology and simply become consumers of the technology and not participants in the technology, that is a very dangerous place to play. And I think in a previous interview I did state, I think the current, and this is my own perspective,
Yeah.
the current digital divide, although very big, will be a small hairline crack in the floor of the canyon of the digital divide that's going to come as a result of artificial intelligence.
Sure. You said participants and consumers. Let's create the difference between the two.
So consumer is somebody who just watches YouTube and TikTok the whole day. They do nothing with it. It's a one-way street. Participants mean I'm reaching out, I'm conducting business, I'm using it to study, and it's a two-way street. But most youth that I've worked with, they would come to my class, sorry, I'm late, I didn't get the update because I don't have data. But then later in the class I ask, how many hours of YouTube do you watch a day? And they go like 3. Okay, so you could watch 3 hours of YouTube, but not this. And that's a big problem, is if we're only going to be consumers, you know, as the marketing expert previously said, well, then we're going to just get what's thrown at us. And we will start becoming like the rest of the world, and we will lose our identity.
Sure. Let's talk about linguistics, right? Cultural diversity. These are some things that are not factored into artificial intelligence. I think Kenneth rightfully stated that AI is trained in English and it stammers and it staggers in other languages. This is not just an African issue. This is across the globe. And so for those who want to be participants, those who are looking for an exchange, how do they integrate that reality into something that is actually beneficial for them as opposed to it being a problem?
The technology will pick up on that quite quickly. The acceleration of these models are phenomenal. So it will get those languages right sooner than later. In fact, I use Notebook LM a lot to do podcasts for me about research it did for me. And it used to be only English. And today I looked at it, and I looked at many languages, even had Afrikaans in it. And I'm like, do I really want to listen to this in my own language? Because I'm not going to understand what it says.
Yeah.
So yes, it's expanding. So I don't think it's a problem going forward, but you do have a very good point. People don't want to use services or necessarily participate if it's not in line with them. You know, we've spoken so many times as we need things in Africa for Africa.
Yeah.
And we will have to work as a continent, because Shella, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the digital divide. You have the access gap, and you have a usage gap as well. And then you look at the skills gap and the affordability gap. So it's not just laying a fiber line and giving people access to it. 2024 report shows that although 710 million people in Africa live within the coverage area of a mobile network where they have internet, they do not use the internet. So the access gap is one thing, because in cities, African cities, the penetration is about close to 60%. But it's half of that in rural areas. And our average broadband speed, or median speed in Africa, is about 2.5 megs. While globally it's about 5.5 megs. So it's double the speed internationally. And you can't really do much with 2.5 megs. I remember I was in Diepsloot trying to run Google Docs on a 2 meg line. It didn't work very well. So the access thing is one thing, and a lot of people are working at it. I was talking to a funder of a business the other day. They laid a 840 kilometer fiber line, and this company does fiber to the shack. I kid you not. It's 21 rand a week, and you get a 20 meg up and down line unlimited. That's it. fiber to the shack. They can't stay ahead. So the access stuff is coming. If you look at Starlink, Starlink's coming up. The Kuiper satellite constellation is also coming up. Many people are building that. So internet access will become just accessible everywhere.
Yeah.
I think our biggest challenge is our usage gap.
Sure. That is a brilliant point you put out there. The voice there of Willem Gous, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, joining us this evening. We're tackling the reality of AI and its integration into the African continent. Of course, this is not overlooking the world's current standpoint, but also just the realities of a digital divide and how we can mitigate that and use it to our benefit. Willem, what's really interesting that you made mention of when you spoke about usage and affordability, I suppose affordability is also being tackled, right? You think of that 21 Rand per week context.
Yes and no.
Okay.
You still need a proper device to access it. And French client of mine and I we always have this conversation that I'm tired of people trying to make an affordable smartphone for Africa. We need to economically uplift Africa so that we can buy the smartphones that are available. Okay, stop giving us some watered down type of thing, and we need to, as a continent, uplift ourselves economically. But that is a big obstacle to buy a device to I mean, if you consider the cost of data, I think a gigabyte of data, 1 gig of data in an average African environment is about 2.4% of your monthly salary for most people. That's a lot of money. If you use 10 gigs, that's a quarter of your salary. So that's also what's holding people back. So affordability on that level is still there, and that fiber to the shack thing is addressing, but the devices are really prohibitive.
Yeah.
And also the speeds that we have, and it's just accelerating. You have to understand, I think what people miss about artificial intelligence is we're moving into an era of cognitive abundance. Okay, so already your artificial intelligences that are out there, I think, have an IQ of 150 or 160. Okay, so it's very smart. Soon it'll be 300. So I can have somebody to the level of Einstein. I can have 1 million Einsteins in my pocket. I can instruct them to do things for me.
Yeah.
People are already positing the first one-man billion-dollar company. It's going to come. And where will Africa be in there?
And I suppose that brings us to our next question, usage. Because that divide is real. Not only do we not access, but there's a minority that accesses the internet and finds replacements. What are some of the job markets that we see will be dissolving in the next 5 years due to this?
Well, definitely anything that's repetitive. Accounting, bookkeeping, any type of number one use case that people currently use ChatGPT for is for advice and just talking to, unpacking your problems. So psychologists, coaches, advisors, all of this is going to disappear. Look at search engines. Do you use a search engine? Do you go to an AI nowadays? I just open an AI and I go like, let's look at this.
Yeah.
So that's also changing. So I think the outsourcing market is going to change. Lots of they think about 40 to 50% of white collar jobs will be automated in the next 5 years. I think it will be less. I think it's a bit doom and gloom. But I'd say about 30%. If you do physical labor, you're still safe for now.
So you're still safe for now. It is 15 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. That was the voice of entrepreneurial thinking expert. That is Willem Gous joining us this evening. We are looking at AI, the integration of AI into the African continent, specifically honing into the usage reality and how that is creating a major divide outside access and affordability. If you have your questions, send them through to WhatsApp. Find us on +27 6340 69126. You can also comment on that current YouTube live stream. Look at us using technology to benefit the station. Listen, more of this conversation when we get back. We're going to be delving into the second part, right? Because we don't want to just talk gloom and doom, or doom and gloom, if you will. We want to talk solutions. How do we maximize on the technology that is? How do we spread it across the continent and ensure that people are engaging technology? But also, what can you do today is the question.
When the sun goes down, we don't stop the talk. Channel Africa, the best nighttime radio. Africa, it's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Tamo ndi
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. And join the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The story that moves the continent. It's on African Diaries on Channel Africa.
For my mind, you see, if no be money, focus with me, like vitamin C. Oh, as you can see, something will not there for me. If you don't say that you're for me, it's no guarantee. I know if you say you bring my party, for my money, all the time I want gonna. For my balance, you know straight my car, you too can I enter small yawa. For your mother, you the only me, you want the call. If you go, go. If you go, go. You want the if you go. If you go, you want if you go, 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 baby, my money make a boss more. Stop at the long talk, I know they pour on me. I want some malaga with my day ones, my day one. I don't let my enemies shame me go now. I know the rest I always say walk out. If I say I'm lazy go, I go pick your money before I pick my baby go. Because it is stop nonsense, you dey hate on me out market. If I form I make I bend. Say you get fake dress, but you won't give me advice about patience. Are you making sense? Can't fit before I change my color. I dey talk, you dey talk, shut up. Me baby with it, I know be ball up. She be with mama, ever I'm fed up.
This is BNXN alongside Rema, and that one titled Fikan Weekan. If you've just joined us, welcome to it. It is 20 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to African Diaries. We are still in conversation with Willem Gous, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, and we are looking at AI. And I suppose we've been talking about the current problem. Right, we've looked at it, just given it an overview of kinds, right? Looking at usage, accessibility, that 110 million people who have access to the internet but don't use it. Mm-hmm. And then off air, we spoke about something even more interesting, which is people seeing the value of AI, of the internet as a whole. Talk me through that again, please.
So why people aren't using the internet is they have a low perceived value of it. How would you describe the value of the internet to a grandmother? What is she going to gain out of it? So a lot of people look at it, I'm in a rural area, what will this do for me? Not much.
Sure.
And the literacy, the digital literacy is also very low. People don't know how to use the technology. And then somebody who doesn't know to use the technology gets scammed, and then that runs through the whole village, and then everybody like, we don't use this. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
But we need to get this right. How much, that's why I do my training in townships. People don't come to where we do training, we go to where they are. Because people don't realize the cost of leaving township and going looking for work. People think, oh, you should go look for work. Yeah, but I need $150 for the day to go and do that. Taxi, food, printing, everything else. Now, if I can do that remotely, if I'm a farmer, if there was one buyer for my crop in the town, now through the internet I can find maybe 3 or 4 others, get a better price. But also e-government services, telemedicine. Telemedicine is beautiful. I mean, they even developed, and this is 2 years old, how I can measure your heartbeat through your camera on your phone. So all of that's there, and it could save a lot of money, create a lot, because the World Bank estimates if we have universal internet access in Africa, it will increase the GDP of Africa by 2% per annum. That's how big that is. Because it's awakening the trade. Now imagine that 710 million people not using it. Now you're getting 50% of them to use it, and they start doing trade, and they're doing business through it. Because even if you just buy something from an online store, you're trading. You're stimulating the economy.
Yeah. Willem, are we presenting real solutions to Africans? Because the point you make there about a grandma who's in a particular inland, and she's saying to herself, but this is no value to me. My gauge or understanding is that we're telling her about how AI can make 3D cinematic videos, and she has no business wanting to deal with that, right? Because her consumer base isn't necessarily looking for a video. They've built trust in the business because she speaks to them. So are we really presenting solutions that speak to Africans through the use of AI?
I think there's a lot of misconception about AI, is that it will be the front line of your business and everything else. And the latest report just showed, I think, 80-something% of AI implementations have failed, of Gen AI. And this was a McKinsey report, but this is mostly based on US businesses.
Okay.
Because you have to realize that it does the heavy lifting for you. So let's take it away from the front of the shop and move it to the back of the shop. If it can start predicting your stock levels and help you manage your stock and tell, listen, go and look at this, look at these things. Or it goes out and it finds you buyers for your product. It's a good use of that type of stuff. But, as a grandmother, I look forward to the age of AI for the elderly. Because now you can have a conversation with it. And especially if robotics come in, now we can have elder care that really helps.
Yeah.
And that's so important. But yes, getting back to the usage. It's about the digital literacy that we need to have. Now, education around the world struggles. Like I was saying to bunch of professors at UNESCO. I said, information is not the problem. Because if that was the case, then YouTube and the internet would have unlocked human potential a long time ago, and it has not.
Yeah.
That's a big snag that we have. People are not driven to go out and find their own solutions. That is a big issue that we have. Resourcefulness is out of the people of Africa. We have the resources, but we're not being resourceful with it.
Sure.
And that's why entrepreneurial thinking is so important.
Let's talk how we can use entrepreneurial thinking to repurpose. I don't want to say repurpose, to guide us back to that resourceful thinking. Right. With the use of AI. I don't want us to leave the AI chat because I think that people have access to chatbots that can give them almost anything. But like you said, they don't know what to ask. The literacy, the intelligence isn't there. So how do we frame our thinking so that we can mechanically get what we need from these bots, from these platforms, these engines to help us become those entrepreneurial thinkers?
You have to ask yourself, is this AI my thought leader or my thinking partner? If you just give it something and it outputs and you copy and paste, then it's your thought leader. It's in control. You are not. So how do you use it as a thinking partner? And the important thing about entrepreneurs, although it's a lone wolf type of mentality and it's a lonely journey, no entrepreneur has ever achieved anything by themselves. They do it through people. And this time you can have it through people, through resources, through machines, through equipment, through AIs. And you have to use it as a thinking partner to help you move forward with whatever you want to do. It's simply a tool that can help you, but you need to instruct it and use it as such, not be a slave to it.
I want us to stay with the human being because if we look at corporations, institutions, government, this is a crop of people, a set of people. So we're going to focus on the individual. Let's talk about people who are scared of AI. I'm scared. This thing's coming to take my job. My employment is gone, or I feel like it's going to lie to me, or it is not equipped with African knowledge, which is to an extent sort of true. For example, if you look for yourself on AI, if you go to a chatbot and you say, who is Willem Goos? If you do not have enough publications that are out with information about you, it's going to give you what it thinks you are. Right? It's going to fabricate something for you. And people use that and sort of plummet into that and say, I'm not touching this thing. Very exposed to technology, well within the right to use this tool to benefit them. But they're scared. What would you say to them?
That's a very good question because there's a report that came out last year and it showed people who barely use artificial intelligence, about 24% of them are scared, compared to 46% of people who are regular users are more scared because they notice the capability of it. Okay. So you have a choice. You can fear it, but that mostly comes from a perspective that you're in a race against it. You will lose that race because it learns faster, thinks faster. It's just faster than you. And that's why don't see yourself at the starting line of a 100-meter race. See it as a partner to you. So this is a good question that you can ask in all areas of life. How might I use this artificial intelligence to study better? How might I use this to find better business ideas? Not new business, better business ideas. And that's why how you interact with it. And when you spoke about the hallucinations and it's lying to you, well, it was designed to always give you an answer. So I instruct mine.
Yeah.
If you're less than 70% sure, just say, I don't know. And then it will go like, I don't know. I said, fine. how might we find sources for that? Where might we find sources? And it goes like, well, we can go look at these and these. And then I go and take a look and I find places and go like, I found something, or it finds something, and let's unpack that. So it's also, I think the great thing about artificial intelligence is because now we have to learn to speak to machines. Now we're going to learn how to speak to human beings again.
Oh, that is so important. Oh, that is such a great point. That is. Do you think that people generally are not articulate enough about themselves, about their space, about their situation?
Yes, it doesn't give context. You know, Shayla, it's like me. Let's say we're in a relationship. I go like, I'm unhappy.
Why did you do that face?
I don't know. I think I've watched too many rap videos.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna go like, about what? Tell me. There's no context. So people go like, write me an email to my boss. About what?
Yeah.
So just like I have to give you context. So I will come to you and say, Shayla, I was in town central the other day. And I was walking down the street, and there was this trader there, and you wouldn't believe what there. So I give you the context. And then I tell you about the interaction, and then the output that I got from that interaction. And what I wish I could have gotten or would have happened, or maybe it was just funny. And the same thing there is how you speak to it. Is you have to tell it what it needs to be. You have to give it context, give it examples, and then ask it what to do. And a great thing that I add to the end of every prompt that I give to an artificial intelligence is, if you have any clarifying questions, ask one at a time. Or I force it. Ask me 5 clarifying questions before you give me an output. And it will come up with perspectives. Wow, I did not think about that. Because that brings us to what AI really stands for. Not artificial intelligence. Augmented imagination.
Oh, wow.
I like that. But that's a choice. And you have to use it as such.
I think let's explain augmented imagination just a bit more. What is that?
So because artificial intelligence has access to the world's knowledge and perspectives and things like that, if I have an idea, I can expand on that idea with it. So now I have a thinking partner. It's like you and your friend having a glass of wine and go like, I'm thinking about this. Wow, yeah, how can that work? Yes, what if you do that? Oh, that's a good idea. And then you can add that and the idea grows. You remember those conversations. They are the best. So why not have that conversation with an artificial intelligence? It's there to enlarge, accelerate, and grow what's already there. I can't tell you how much potential people have, but they're blind to it because the eye cannot see the eye. But when I start working with it, it can help me bring that out.
And finally, just as a futuristic view, if you will, do you think, and I suppose perhaps it's not do you think, because I do believe you think so, what do you see forecasted for the next 5 years with respect to the African continent, the integration of AI and the correct use of this augmented imagination?
I have more of a negative view.
Let's hear it, though.
If I look at, so I do keynote talks at businesses, specific keynote titled Outlearn and Out-Earn Your Competitors. So I teach their staff, so everybody's in the keynote, from the cleaner to the managing director. And I teach them entrepreneurial thinking. And usually I'll say, raise your hand if you've never heard of artificial intelligence. And usually about, say, a quarter of people would go like, what's this? And then I ask, raise your hand if you've never used it. And then about half of the room goes up. And they're like, I have no idea. And then I fire up ChatGPT and I start talking to it. And they go like, oh, what sorcery is this? And Sipiwe answers, what is this? And I go like, say hello to Sipiwe. And they go like, hey Sipiwe, how you doing? What do you, and you're like, what? So people don't have, they haven't experienced it. They're not exploring it. And that's why I have a negative view. Because if I look at my entrepreneurship development work that I do in townships, people have access to all the knowledge in the world already through YouTube and the internet, but they don't use it. So now I'm going to have access to 1 million Einsteins in my pocket. It's the difference between those who choose to use it or not.
Sure.
And I'm concerned because we're not being resourceful with it.
Sure. Willem will leave it there for today. The voice of Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, joining us this evening. It is 36 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Share your thoughts, your views. This live feed will continue until the top of the hour. For now, let's get some music.
Africa's heart beats one story at a time on African Diaries with Shayla.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
United we stand, divided we shall fall. Asihlanganeni bo, sonke ma-Afrika. Africa is our home. Make it a better place. Asihlanganeni bo, sonke ma-Afrika.
Peace, love, and harmony.
leso sibhamu sakho usilahle lwandle. Thatha lowo mkhonto uwubunzu lwandle. Thatha leso sibhamu sakho usilahle lwandle. Ungathanda yini na? Ungathanda yini na? Ungathanda yini na?
One continent, 1,000 stories. It's African Diaries, 10 till midnight on Channel Africa.
Last. Now everybody go to breakfast. Shayo. Shayo. You go bow for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, oh. Cause I did win by default and without any doubt, oh. I'm a me happy adult, oh. I no go feed the girl, insult, oh. I'm a mind as you the talk, oh. I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love, oh. I know holy and I know that get boss. Like the Baba Frayo, my ayo, don't cry, yo. I need to go and shayo. 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 Shayo. I need to go and shayo. I need to go and shayo. I need to go and shayo. I did Port Harcourt when them kill Soboma. I did try to buy moto, one Toyota Corolla. My feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Now you crash your Ferrari for Lucky Bona. Now some more to remake could have been all over. My feelings today swing like Django Lover. Feelings today swing like Timbani Churu. I'm a white dog in Fenisu. Why you say I did nothing for you when if I do anything you want me to do? Timbani Churu. I'm a white dog in Fenisu. Why you say I did nothing for you when if I do anything you want me to do? Maybe another time, maybe another life. You will be my wife and we'll get it right. Don't cast, last. Now everybody go to breakfast. Have to say bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo. To the love of my life. My ayo, don't cry, yo. I need to go and shayo. 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 I need to go and shayo.
45 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Burna Boy on that one, titled Last. Before that, Lady Smith, Black Mambazo coming in alongside Salif Keita, where the South meets the West. And that one titled United We Stand. If you've just joined us, this is Channel Africa. We do bring you that African perspective. My name is Shayla Ndikumana, and we're going to be summing up conversations that have been. If you have missed out on some of these fruitful conversations concerning AI, how AI affects us in digital marketing, because that seems to be one of the booming industries directly affiliated and related to people, alongside how we can maximize on the use of AI. And that, of course, being a twofold conversation. The first half, we spoke to Kenneth Mokhabudi, who is an award-winning strategist and a senior manager at Instinctive Africa. And he was, of course, tagging along, or rather opted to have this discussion with us with Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, and he spoke to the realities of the digital divide, how it's not just about access, it's about usage. Some people have access, but they just don't use it for whatever reason. And he also spoke about affordability, and of course that then tilting us toward the conversation, how can we maximize on AI? How can we prosper and benefit, was my question. And listen, if you missed all of that, be sure to head over to YouTube for the podcasted versions of those conversations, sliced into three for your, of course, your benefit. But of course, we also want to bring you in. We want to do what marketing does, which is reel you in, have you tune into the station more, because we do have fruitful conversations. Find us on YouTube. Channel Africa is the platform to be looking out for. We're now going to get into an audio courtesy of Business Insider South Africa, and it looks to address how AI will impact Africa in the next not 5, not 10, but 20 years.
AI is learning how to drive cars, how to fly planes, how to diagnose diseases. And this is just going on and on, sector after sector. AI is beginning to achieve superhuman performance. What does it mean for Africa? AI will touch every industry, from finance to farming. We are on the start of the fourth industrial revolution. The starting gun has been fired, and I'll be very, very honest with you. Right now, Africa has not even lined up on the start line. We are sitting in the Lagos Yacht Club, drinking crude oil from champagne glasses, patting ourselves on the back at how clever we are. Meanwhile, South Korea has committed nearly $1 billion to its AI industry. China has said it is going to create an AI industry of $150 billion over the next 20 years. Where is the Pan-African billion-dollar investment in AI? Where are the thousands of young people who are training to be machine learning specialists, data scientists, AI specialists? The jobs that we love, those jobs will be swept away over the next 20 to 30 years because AI can do it faster, cheaper, better than you can. All those jobs will be lost in time like tears in rain. They will be gone at the start of the fourth industrial revolution. And the beauty of that is that nobody knows how it's going to play out. No country anywhere in the world has an inbuilt advantage. It's nothing to do with the resources you have in the ground. It's to do with what's in your head. Therefore, Africa can play at this game just as well as any other country. When we need to transform to a new Africa, we need to transform to a smart Africa, we need to transform to an intelligent.
And if you want to know how to transform into a smart, intelligent Africa, then you have to tune into the conversations that have been. If you've just stepped into the party, you're saying, Shayla, what is going on? That was an audio courtesy of Business Insider South Africa. And we're looking at how AI is going to affect every single industry across the board. So whether you are one who is an artisan, you work with your hands, whether you're one who calculates for a living, whether you're one who creatively thinks for a living, AI is coming into all those pots and pans, and you need to know how to work with AI as a partner. Not a thought leader, as Willem had expressed, but as a partner, something that allows you to think even deeper into what you already have the potential to do. And that is the conversation that we had in this particular hour. It is 50 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Your thoughts, your views, find us on YouTube. Comment on the live feed currently taking place. The channel is Channel Africa. For now, let's get some music.
Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Nighttime radio, just the way you like it. On Channel Africa, where the night comes alive.
Yeah,
I'm off tour, we should celebrate, dedicate some time for you, baby, it's a date. I can't be late, gotta regulate, cause I hate dirty looks on your pretty face, made back. I pulled up on a shitty day. I told her bring a passport, told her bring a case, fly out for a couple days. We should take a trip away. There's no time like the present, we're getting lit today.
Say you wanna link on the low, meet between the sheets on the low, so that no one can see us on the low. Make we just creep it though. I know you want the link on the low. We have to stay discreet, you don't know. And now we're on the street on the low. And if they asking about we, I don't know. We turn nothing to something and say that it's nothing. Stop all the fronting when we both know we're talking. It's not up for discussion. We don't do much discussing, so don't act like there's nothing when we both know there's something. You know you make me vex on the low. Boy, you make me stress, you don't know. Then you send me sweet texts on the low. So now I can't leave you alone. Yeah, might be in too deep. Can't save myself, gonna lose it. Feel like me rendering a service and you give me a tip. Mind going crazy, chasing lucid dreams. Turn nothing to something. Say that it's nothing. Stop all the fronting when we both know we're talking. It's not up for discussion. We don't do much discussing. So act like there's nothing when we both know there's something.
Yeah, I'm off tour, we should celebrate, dedicate some time for you, baby, it's a date. I can't be late, gotta regulate, cause I hate dirty looks on your pretty face, made back. I pulled up on a shitty day. I told her bring a passport, told her bring a case, fly out for a couple days. We should take a trip away. There's no time like the present, we're getting lit today.
African Diaries, weekdays, 10 till midnight.
Nitakununulia mawigi na simu, nitakuzawadia pochi zenye thamani, na wewe ndio waingishia, utembe kwa uskani na vioki wafungia. Aloyumba leo ni Mungu na ndo atayumba kesho. Amini fungu letu lacha aliko mbali. Alisema mtazako tu tutatafuta kwa mateso. Baby miti ya kawaida usijali. Kidogo nachokuletea usinune, pokea. Nipate moyo nifariji, na juhudi naziongezea. Usichoke nyombea, Mola kubariki zaidi. Mungu kakupa sura, kakupa shepu, nyuma chora, mambo yetu mwana sanura. Mwenzako mimi I love you. Meniteka medula, niko vyetu. Akili haina ndala iko peku, umenifurula. Mwenzako mimi I love you. Univumilie, yatapita, yana mwisho. Ipo siku tayasahau, watatushimwa lokukarau. Kaza moyo, nivumilie. Amini tutayasahau, watatushimwa lokukarau. Wote na nitakununulia vyote, mikufu na simu vyote, nitakuzawadia vyote. kajua sikafanya subira. Na ninapokosa niambie mpenzi, so kuzozana. Nyumba haijengwi kwa vita hasira. Kwenye macho yako ukiatazama, naiona huruma yako mama.
Diamond Platinums with that one title, Yatapita, taking us to East Africa, but sounding very southern, specific to Angola and Mozambique with that Kizomba sound. Before that, he was Savage and Skepta coming through with that one titled On the Low. It's time for us to make way and room for the show that is to come. Morris Touch of the Afro Republic joins us from Zimbabwe, Bulawayo. Morris, good evening.
Good evening, Shayla. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
Listen, busy being busy, but we are blessed. How are you doing?
I'm glad that you are busy doing something, not busy doing nothing.
I hope you had a fantastic weekend yourself. What can we expect on the show today?
Oh man, great stuff, great music. But I just want to touch on that song that you're playing. Do you know the story behind it?
Tell me more.
You know, this song talks about, it's an assurance to a loved one, to a woman. This is a man who's coming through and saying, you know what, everything that we're going through, the poverty that you're seeing now, or what we may be defined by people as poverty, will definitely pass. And I'll be able to buy you all the lovely material stuff that you need, your wigs, your phones, your cars, you know, everything that a woman will brag of. And those are some of the things that I will share with you. But in the meantime, hang in there. Everything is going to be all right. God will definitely take us somewhere, as long as we believe in what we are doing, which is building a very strong and beautiful relationship.
Well, that is a show that, or rather a song that helps us slate off the show very well. Sounds like a very commendable stud there. And I suppose he trickles into the show that is to come of the Afro Republic.
Yeah. That's what we'll be doing. Yeah, that's the type of sound that one can expect as we journey through the beautiful continent of Africa. I can tell you that we start the hour with trending stories. There are so many trending stories that we'll be looking at, and just giving you an idea. One that quickly comes to mind is the fact that this year, Zimbabwe International Film Festival has been cancelled, citing challenges that come with lack of funding. Remember, this has been funded by quite a number of international organizations, and them pulling out their funding really puts the industry, the hosting of the festival, at a very difficult position. So this year there won't be the festival won't be able to take place, and it's something that most filmmakers looked forward to. And when a festival like that gets cancelled, it does put a damp to the film industry in the country. So that's what we'll be looking at. I will also go into the music space as well and share with you the music that tells the story of what day it is. We're kickstarting the week. And that's the type of vibe that one can look forward to. We've got our live and loud coming through at 1:30, the hour of 1 o'clock, and that will give us a very clear picture of some of the biggest live concerts that ever took place on the African soil, and some beyond the African continent, but featuring African artists.
The voice there of Morris Touch of the Afro Republic. He joins you between midnight and 3 a.m. Central African time. Morris, thank you a ton. We appreciate you, and we cannot wait to catch you on the other side. In actual fact, wow, it is 12 midnight. Time for the team and I to say goodbye. Listen to digital technical production from all of us. We appreciate you and your presence on the show. Hopefully you join us tomorrow between 10 and midnight in Central African time. For now, do take care.